Democrats in the media are now unloading all their nasty attacks on rising Trump White House star and new press secretary.
Things are heating up fast, as Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Whoopi Goldberg have all reacted strongly to a recent statement from young conservative voice Karoline Leavitt. And what makes it even more striking is that she managed to spark such intense reactions without even appearing on their show, bringing renewed attention to The View and placing it right at the center of a growing controversy, as Leavitt spoke boldly, calling out what she described as clear double standards, challenging widely accepted narratives, and putting the show directly in focus, which quickly led to a wave of responses so strong that speculation about possible internal changes at ABC began circulating, showing just how far the situation has escalated. And now many are asking what exactly she said that set off Whoopi Goldberg, frustrated Joy Behar, and caught Sunny Hostin off guard, as the moment continues to fuel debate and analysis from all sides, making it clear that there is more beneath the surface, and worth examining closely to understand.
If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
His speech last week was arguably the most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS.
There's a growing perception among some viewers that The View can sometimes come across as speaking with a kind of authority that doesn't always connect with the audience, raising a simple but important question about tone, where it comes from, and how it lands. Instead of feeling grounded or relatable, critics argue that certain discussions feel dismissive or out of touch, which can make even serious topics harder for people to engage with. That concern resurfaced in reactions to commentary about Karoline Leavitt, a young and outspoken conservative figure whose rising visibility has sparked debate, particularly after remarks from Joy Behar suggested her prominence might be tied more to appearance than substance, a claim that drew attention for its tone, while Whoopi Goldberg added her own forceful perspective, attributing Leavitt's rise to the broader political climate. For some viewers, moments like these highlight a recurring pattern where criticism shifts from ideas to personal framing, reinforcing the sense that the conversation isn't always meeting people where they are, and ultimately fueling the disconnect that critics say is becoming harder to ignore.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
It really depends on perspective. Some viewers do find Whoopi Goldberg's style on The View to be blunt or overwhelming, while others appreciate that same directness as authenticity and experience speaking. She tends to anchor conversations, push back firmly, and keep discussions moving, sometimes with humor, other times with intensity, which is exactly why reactions to her can be so divided. At the same time, it's worth separating tone from substance. Even critics often acknowledge that Goldberg brings decades of industry experience and social commentary into the discussion, which can lead to thoughtful or challenging points, even if her delivery doesn't resonate with everyone. When Sunny Hostin introduces topics like race, it often raises the stakes of the conversation, and that's where contrasting perspectives become more visible. In moments involving Karoline Leavitt, for example, a direct or unfiltered response can shift the tone quickly, especially on a panel format where strong personalities are expected. That kind of exchange, sharp, unscripted, and sometimes uncomfortable, is part of what drives the show's appeal.
Like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason, because black people couldn't get into colleges, because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian, this is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world.
On social media, Karoline Leavitt sparked significant reaction after criticizing The View, describing it as a panel that presents itself as supportive of women while, in her view, dismissing those who express differing opinions. Her remarks were direct and unfiltered, which is part of why they gained traction online, though reactions were split. Supporters saw it as calling out perceived bias, while critics argued it oversimplified the dynamics of a show.
Despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate.
Karoline Leavitt continued to push back during the exchange, directing particular criticism toward Joy Behar in response to broader comments from Whoopi Goldberg about success and cultural dynamics. She framed her own rise as the result of dedication and hard work, rejecting the idea that other factors played a defining role. And when Sunny Hostin attempted to shift the discussion toward privilege, Leavitt responded firmly, signaling she was no longer interested in engaging on that front and drawing a